Hola. Good morning. Okay, so we're back from our trip. Is there something in my hair? Oh no, it's just a shiny part of my head. Oh, whatever. Okay, I'm not going anywhere today. I got a little bit dressed this morning so I could get a few things done and be here. I've got an order coming from Walmart. We're just gonna, I'm trying to put my charger in. We're just gonna have to hope they find our house, because I can't do another out there in the yard talking to some man on the phone that doesn't speak English very well and leaves with my stuff, because I did not want to go to town today. So I've done nothing this morning but put away things from the trip. So I've got laundry going. I've got the cooler. I have that one. I honestly don't know where that little blue cooler came from. It showed up here back last May when we were without power. But I don't know why it's here and who brought something in it. I just don't know. It was just on my back deck, out of the blue, little blue cooler. I don't know what size it is. But we took enough cold things. So there's no like Walmart or anything where we were at. Now, we could have probably taken an exit at any one of the little towns before we, like off of I-10, before we got to Winnie, because at Winnie you hang a right and it's straight to High Island, and then at High Island there's nowhere to go. You just keep going until you hit the ocean, and you've got to take another right and run along the seawall. Well, it's not a wall, but the ocean is right there. We were looking, Tina and I, at lot, because it looked like our yard, the yard we were in at the house, it had a cyclone fence on one side. This side had already been, this side was done different, and it wasn't a cyclone or chain link. It was like kind of what we build here with the post and the slats, but it was two and they were kind of short, sort of more decorative than keep out. But on the other side of us, where the other houses were, on the right, there was chain link fence, and then there was an empty lot, and then another chain link fence, and they were identical chain link fences, but they dead ended. There was no ending. They were broke. It was like a post and a top rail for the fence to continue out, but it didn't. So we were looking on the map on Google Maps. That house didn't used to be beachfront or on the water like that. There was a lot in front of it, closer to the water. So we were looking at all this stuff on there that showed these other lots. Like out there on the beach, where we were on the beach, were actually lots, and the beach was further out. And I'm assuming, I think it was Ike that came in and really tore up Galveston really bad. Now that's been years and years ago. There's also what they call the lone house, or the lonely house, or the lone house. It's on Bolivar. It's, for whatever reason, everything around it was destroyed, and it's still standing, and it's in the water. There is no beach left. There's a little bit. When we left, there were people kind of sitting under it, but at the edge, because water was whipping in under the pilings. I do not know who owns that house. Maybe the city of Bolivar, or whatever it's called there, maybe owns that now. I'm surprised they haven't taken it down. Maybe it's just like a landmark now. They're using it like a landmark. I don't know. There's some sentimental something to it. I don't know. But I just know that where it sits and along down beside it were lots with houses, and those are gone. And this lone house is literally in the water. The pilings closest to the water, I don't know how to say it, but the ones furthest out, they're underwater. Even in the morning, like the different times when you're like high and low tide, they were still underwater. When we left about 11:15 or something like that, when we headed out of Bolivar. And when we passed it, there was people parked out beside it, but this way, closer to the road. And then there was a couple of chairs right under the edge of it where maybe they had been trying to sit in the shade of it, but there was water lapping up now close. So that's just crazy that that house, it looks perfect condition sitting there. I mean, it's got some mold and mildew on the sides because no one's cleaning it, but I'm curious. I would love to see what it looks like inside. Does it look like it was ever touched inside? Assume they don't have power there anymore, so that means things inside would be mildewing and nasty. But anyway, it's kind of sad. But yeah, where our house was, the house we were in, was not always beachfront. There was lots in front of us, but no longer there. So now that house is beachfront. It's pretty awesome and pretty sad at the same time that there were so many people that had actual beachfront, and now they're gone. Their land doesn't exist anymore. Anyway, but we're home. We had a good time. I've had a couple of comments about where did we stay and how much was the stay. All I can tell you is that we use Vrbo, and I specifically, when you're in the Vrbo app, you can click what kind of home you want. Beachfront, oceanfront, water view. You know, you click all these things. But you really have to, also in the title, usually like, okay, let's just say that little house we were in was called the Centurion. On the Vrbo website, it says like less than minute walk to the beach. So that says like, okay, less than 60 seconds we're going to be on the beach. That's probably, but I always zoom in on the little Google picture of it. I zoom and I see where is this house and how close, because we have to be, there's no point of us wanting to go and hang out on the beach, even though we weren't on the beach. I didn't hang out. You know, like I that one video where I said I was out there less than an hour. I was not burnt. I still used oil. My oil has an SPF in it, but it's not a big one. Like Tina's had like a 40. I don't know if how much more they make. Tina had a 40. I did not have a big one, a high SPF, but I did have an SPF in mine, but it was still an oil, and I did not burn. I had color. It dipped down with my bathing suit. So I was happy, but not a lot of difference on my legs. But you know what? I'm in shorts. I'm in shorts now. I'm in shorts all day. I'm in these kind of shirts all day. I just don't stay out in it very long. Now, I was headed out a little while ago, and then it started raining. So then I looked at the radar, and we have rain again this afternoon. But what I was going to say was, when you go on the Vrbo, if you get the Vrbo, VRBO app, you don't pay for it. There's nothing to pay for any of that. You sign up for Vrbo, so you're in kind of stuff, and then you just choose. Like, it'll say right off the bat destination, and you type in where you want. I typed in Bolivar Peninsula, and then on Bolivar, there's, like, we were in considered Gilcrest, but then there's Crystal Beach, and then there's I can't think now, but anyway, there's like different sections of Bolivar's considered something else. So we were in Gilcrest. I think Gilcrest and closer to High Island, you have the less crowds. I showed y'all nobody. You know, there was the one I told Mom that the weekend was coming up. We were leaving on Thursday, and honestly, trying to pull out of that parking lot where that Swedes rental building business was, and it was in a shopping strip. trying to pull out was horrible. The traffic was, and I told Mom, I said, well, I guess this is Thursday. People are getting here, staying the weekend. So glad. So that may have been one reason that we weren't as crowded, because we were there completely in the middle of the week. So it was nice not to have people drinking and hollering. And when we were sitting up on the deck looking down, there was a group a little further down than ours. They came in off an access road, so they were not in one of the beach houses. They came in off the access road, and it was 2 vehicles at one time, then a third and a fourth showed up later. Those people were getting pretty lit, and they were getting louder, and the girls were we were laughing, we were people watching, so the girls were getting kind of loosey-goosey, dancing and stuff, and they weren't tiny girls, they were kind of girls like our sizes, but it's okay. I mean, that's fine. I'm just saying, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that they were all holding their beer bottles and their beer cans, and all I kept thinking is, just watch the kids, please watch the babies, because they would get off to doing some stuff and the babies were in the water, the little ones were by themselves. And at some point I was like, I told Mom, I said, dear me, I hope they're not going to try to camp on this beach and be loud all night long. But they weren't. They ended up leaving. But I wouldn't have been able to hear them anyway, because I had my fan, and my fan is loud. Now, we did, like I said, we went to Dollar General and got Mom and Tina a fan, each one of them for their rooms, but they didn't have loud fans. Mine's a loud fan. They had constant noise. That's the whole point, is that constant noise. There's not an up and down in noise. Your fan just makes a constant humming sound, and these metal ones, to me, make louder sounds than those plastic box fans. Although I had a box fan once, I took the leg off one side and had these little legs. I took the leg off one side, so the whole time, and that, because the sound of the fan just wasn't loud enough for me. Yeah, but you go to that Vrbo, let me go back. You go to that Vrbo app and you just put in where you want to go. And I think there's even a thing, yeah, there's a thing where you don't want to pay more than this. And I do stay in something, we're going to stay less than a certain amount, but I know that amount has to be enough that it's going to include houses on the water, because that's what we need. Because when we're out there, it doesn't matter if it's 45 minutes, it doesn't matter if it's 10 minutes every couple of hours we go out and sit on the water. He has to be able to come out and say something to us and let us know. And we have to be, because as we're out there, we get in the water, we pick up shells. I left my shells. I gathered up a really pretty little clump of shells and left them in the outdoor shower where I washed off. And he's got to be able to come right down to us. So there's no road he has to walk down the side. We just wouldn't go if that was the case. Or if we go, like that time we had that hotel, we have to load everything up in the vehicle. And I told Mom, I said, loading everything up in the car is just like we just came for the day. We might as well not stay at night. We might as well just come for the day. Because the truth is, if you load up like that and you go down to the water, if you stay too long and you get burnt, you might as well go home, because you're not going to be able to enjoy the beach anymore. So, but yeah, when we had that hotel, even though it was less than a mile from the beach, or even less than even a half mile, maybe not even a quarter mile, you still had a street you had to drive down and homes on both sides. There's no way I would have left him in that motel by himself. And if we had rented one of them houses, he still would have to go with us to the water. And he doesn't like the noise. The noise bothers him. You can get him in certain...
My noise scared me.
I don't think the waves scare you.
My noise scared me.
The waves, the water crashing, On the beach scares you?
Yeah.
I don't think it scares him. It just is it's a sensory thing with him. But you know, if the waves, or if it's now when we were there, man, they were crashing big time. I was thinking these are kind of waves that people do surfing on, although that they were not that big. But it was a lot of waves, and I was like, the water is so. I mean, the minute we got off High Island and turned onto the peninsula, I was like, oh my gosh, look at this water. It was so rough. Anyway, we had a good time. But that's what I use as Vrbo. And you just put in everything, and you just try your hardest to stay within your budget. And it was easier for us this time because which we have a good time, me and Mom, and we deal with whatever the budget is. We just deal with it. Not Mom has more money than me, and she's got dad, and they both have retirement and all kinds of stuff. I don't have that kind of money. But if it's a nice enough something, and she's like, oh yes, I'm like, oh Mom, wait, this is way too much more. She'll usually say she'll get the difference, but I don't like to have to do that. So I try really, really hard to I may look for days or hours, sit in this chair, just looking and saving and going back and comparing these 2 or 3 that I've saved to see which one looks best. I look at their fees. They got cleaning fees and this fee and this fee, and I look at fees. This time around, this house, we were kind of, they had fees. I didn't like it, but we were down to I couldn't find one with a decent enough nightly charge, so I ended up having to go with the one we went with, which is a little bit less money than the rest of them, but there were fees. But they still, even with those fees, came out to be less than. And then we had a fee for the dog because Mom was taking her dog, Tina was taking her dog. And it was the first time we've ever had to pay for linens. And all the other homes, the beds were there, the sheets were on, and the pillows and the cases are on the beds already. There's towels in the bathroom, or towels folded in the laundry room, in the linen closet. Everything was there. This place was not like that. The bed, like from the pictures, they had comforters on the bed and the pillows with the shams on the bed, but underneath the beds were nothing but mattress covers. And you had to either bring sheets, and I don't have sheets for king and queens. Tina may, and Mama don't either, because Mom and Dad will sleep in twins. The biggest they would have had would have been fulls when they used to sleep in fulls. But I got rid of all my. We wouldn't have had sheets to fit this bed. Now, like I said in that one video, I could have probably. We just could have gone to buying all these sheets for these beds that we would never use again. I don't know. Anyway, we had a good time. It was a fun time. And so yeah, go get you the Vrbo app, VRBO, and just put in everything that you're looking for. I put in places all the time. Okay, so this coming up October, we're going to the Passion Play in Arkansas. All the ones, the school has their, what they call the fall break. It's not Thanksgiving, it's before Thanksgiving. It's in October. And so most of everybody around here, well, Tina and Dustin and Jill and all that group, they will be going to Florida. They're gonna go south, we're gonna go north. But we're only gonna be gone, we'll be home on Wednesday. At some point we'll be home Wednesday. We're just going to drive straight through, and then we'll drive straight home the morning we leave. And we're only going for the one night. Now, we may see something we want to do, because Mom says, I think we should leave at 6. That puts us, there'll probably be maybe a stop for gas or something, or drive through for lunch. I don't know, or whatever. But it puts us getting to Eureka Springs at about 6 o'clock or maybe 7. No, leave it 6. It puts us getting there about 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. So there's still time. If we want to see something, we could go see something. But I've already purchased the tickets for the 3 tickets for the Passion Play, and I've reserved our hotel. So I also use that Comfort Inns app, and every time you stay, you get points, and you can use those points towards other stays. I've done that before where the hotel didn't cost us anything for one of the nights because I had used my points for one of the nights. I remember it's a while back on something, but and it's got, even though it's the Choice Hotels app, you've got, is it Choice Hotels? Yeah, Choice Hotels app. In the Choice Hotels, you've got Comfort Inns and Quality Inns, and every now and then there will be something else, and I can't remember now off the top of my head. But I use that app for hotels. Daniel is one of those that likes the Holiday Inns. Oh, I do know this, that one of the hotels we stayed in when we were in, when we went north and came back down through North Carolina and all the way back down, one of those nights we stayed in a Radisson hotel, but it was in the Choice Hotel group. So there'll be other hotels in that group. You just, when you pull up the link, and it's the same way as that Vrbo app. You click it, it opens, it says destination, and you put in where you're going. And then it'll list all the hotels in that town and list some hotels within miles of that town. So anyway, we'll be doing that in October, so that'll be a nice little getaway. I've always wanted to see the Passion Play. I looked at their little train ride too, but the train, I was hoping that we could get, I thought the train would take you, since it's up, in the mountain, I thought you would be able to see the Jesus, was it Christ of the Ozarks? Is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called. I might be wrong. Anyway, I thought the train would be close, but it says that you don't see him in that train ride. It's different location, so you don't see him. But I know that I was in Arkansas, oh my gosh, I believe I was almost 30, so I would say 25 years ago. We were in Arkansas, and we were staying, we may have been in Eureka Springs. I just know that when you came out of I think we stayed in a B&B, and when you came out, if you looked up and over, he was up there, and you could see him so big and beautiful up there. Or maybe look this way. Anyway, but the train doesn't take you. It says the train does not pass by him or get close to him, but you can still see him from the town, I guess. Anyway, I just thought I'd catch up with y'all. And I didn't do any kind of video Saturday. I wanted to get a video out to y'all. I wanted to work in the yard. It's raining. It's not raining now, but everything's wet, and I want to get that pile burned. I mowed my yard when I got home. Mowed the front, mowed the back, mowed Debbie's. I never made it around to Tony's. I need to do Tony's, but I'm not going to do it now that it's rained. But, what was I going to say? Oh, I still had a few straggles of limbs that came from that fence line by Tony's that were laid over where I cut them with the saw. And I picked them up and put them in the pile. Got ants all over me. One of them was covered in ants, and I thought it was at the bottom, but when I lifted it up to lay it over, because it was kind of a heavy, tall limb, oh my gosh, they were up this arm, covered my fingers, trying to bite in between my fingers. At least I don't have any bites, though. I got them all fast enough. But I got that all stacked up, and I should have burned it that night, and I didn't. But where that pile is It's not fully where the chicken coop will be, but it's close to where the chicken coop. It's little section of it. You won't be able to work good with that big pile there. It's got to go. It's got to get burnt down to the ground. And okay, and then there's a snake. I guess Steph, I did not see the video. I mean, I know she told me what she told me, but I didn't see her video. But we have a snake, and he is killed 4 chicks. He's killed the 4 young ones. I believe he ate the 2 little white ones. They were small. Now these chickens are old enough to run with the big chickens. They would be what I would call teenagers. But the little white ones, their breed is small. Their mama was small, and she was killed by something. There was no sign of them. I think, everything's, in fact, when they died, they were still in the little run. There's nothing can get in there except for a snake. And they were completely gone. There wasn't a feather. There wasn't a leg. There wasn't something that I could say, oh, a possum got them or a coon got them. Coons will walk off with them. Coons will not eat them where they're at. Possum will eat them right there, as much as they can eat before they're caught. And usually they go in and nasty, like up through the butt. But coons will carry a chicken off. A coon will kill a chicken, maybe a bite or whatever, and he carries it with him to his den. He doesn't eat them in the coop. That's a possum thing. But regardless of that, there was no dead body. There was no feather. There was no leg or beak or nothing. There was nothing. They were just gone. There wasn't even feathers to say, oh my gosh, they fought or something chased them. Nothing. They were just disappeared. And that's the only thing, is because they were small. And I feel like he probably managed to eat them. They would have been like but they would have been and as he's doing that, he's breaking bones and stuff. That's why when he's killed a grown chicken, if a snake tries to kill a grown chicken, he takes in its face, and he keeps doing that down. It gets to their shoulders, and he can't get it up or in or whatever. He can't get it past the shoulders. So then he has to bring it back out. And when that happens, when you find that chicken, it was a snake. And their necks will be about this long, because he's broke all the bones as he's. So I think he ate those 2 little white ones, but he just killed the 2 other ones that were a bigger breed, and he couldn't get past their shoulders. So it's like there's whole lots of senseless deaths, but he didn't get a meal with them. It was a death for no reason. It's just, so now I go out several times a day hoping that I'm going to find him in that coop and do what I got to do so he won't come back to that coop. But yeah, so been dealing with that. So I didn't know, somebody made a comment, I can't remember who it was, that said, did Steph find the snake? Well, Steph never found the snake, and I haven't found the snake either. I go out several times a day, sneaking up on my coop, looking to see if I find him, and he's not been there. So, and then I gather my eggs as I go out. So if I go out there in the morning and open the coop and walk in, there's only 1 egg, I take it. And if I go back out 2 hours later or 3 hours later and check, I take those. If it's 1 or 2 or 3, I take them. So it's like you're gathering eggs all day long, but at the same time, it's so hot right now that we're only getting 5 or 6 eggs a day. So I don't know. It is what it is. I got to figure it out, and I want to get that coop started, and I got to get that fire burned. So anyway, fire. I meant that pile burned. I gotta get the pile burned. Anyway, I'm gonna go. We've been shooting the breeze. Levi, we've been shooting the breeze. Yeah. Trying to think if I can tell y'all anything else exciting. I don't guess there is. Mom and Dad's house gets started on the 1st of July. Pray those people show up. She thinks she's going to be living in that house by the end of July. I don't think that's going to happen. I try to tell her, she goes, don't burst my bubble, don't burst it. But I try to tell her, I said, Mom, I can do all that I can do, but I can't do the roof, the ceiling. I can't do the ceiling. I have a bad, this shoulder is already a bad shoulder. This is my right arm. This is my do everything with arm. This is my muscle right here. I've got a good muscle right there. But this arm, it's always hurting me. It's always hurt me. I'm not going to have a surgery. I don't have, I haven't had anything that's like Dad and Tina both had surgeries because something actually ripped. That has not happened to me. Praise God. I give into it so it doesn't hurt me. But it is, I can't do a whole lot. After a while, I can't do no more above my head. And then at like Sunday dinner, Mom said something about the ceiling being tin, which I think is pretty. I wouldn't mind if I wanted a cabin-esque look. That would be a pretty roof to me. Lester did it, we did it in the barndominium down there. But Buddy acting like he didn't think they needed to do metal. He thinks they just needed to do sheetrock, but that just means I can't do it. And so I don't know. I told Mom today on the phone, I said, I don't know. If Buddy wants to do sheetrock, that's fine. You know, if you do it good. Buddy and Steph did a really good job on their little cabin over there, their little barn dominium house. But also, it's about 1/3 of the size of what Mom and Dad's is going to be. So I told Mom, I said, you know what? If the thing is, everybody works. I'm the only one that doesn't work a full-time job. I mean, I kind of have a full-time job just in this farm and this kid and keeping this house and blah, blah, blah. But, my ice maker probably needs water. I just don't know I just don't think I can do the ceiling. But I told Mom, if Buddy and Steph want to come in, or even we'll all contribute, but on the days that he's off, because that's what we got to look at, the days he's off. The same with Daniel. Daniel can work, but he's got to be off. Everybody works. So, no. So, but I told Mom, I said, you know, if they want to come in and do the ceiling in sheetrock, tape and float and all that and get it out of the way, then you can go ahead and do your walls in that paneling that you like. If y'all remember a while back, I at Longhorn Lester's, I did that one wall in paneling, that back wall. You can get that paneling that looks like little planks of wood. It's just paneling. Goes up in 4x8 sheets, but when you go up like that, it goes up fast. We could do that, but you can get it in lighter colors. They went dark, but you can get it in like whitewashed look. So that we could do that for their walls and just do the sheetrock ceilings. Would be pretty. And then probably, I don't know about the whole house. I really don't know, but I just know I told her, I said, Mom, you just have to remember that she said that they would be done in start to finish in 7 days. So she thinks if they start on the 1st and they're done by the 7th or the 8th, that we're going to do everything in the next 14 days and she's going to be in by the end of July. And it's just, I wish it would happen, but it's not going to happen. Buddy's going to do the plumbing. The one thing that's come out of this that's going to be good for me is I'm not going to have to do any interior walls, because Dad's worked it out with this gentleman that they're going to build the interior walls to stud them out. So all those walls, it'll be dividers between bedrooms and bathroom from the living room and all that stuff. There's walls are already going to be there. So that's pretty good for on my side. So I think I'll be doing flooring of whatever kind. I'll be putting her cabinets in when that wall gets put up, whichever way she wants to do that. You know, her kitchen. I'll be doing all of that kind of stuff, which is simple to me. But, yeah, so, and then Dad's going to do the wiring. Buddy's going to do the plumbing. The insulation has to go in. The insulation comes after they build. So even though that man may be done on the 7th or 8th, then we got to get the insulation people out. No, we got to do the wiring first. Then we got to do the insulation. No, we got to do the plumbing, then the insulation. Is the way Daddy wants to do it. Because it's that blow-in kind, the kind that's that foam that blows up. Anyway, I don't know. It's going to be, well, she just got to understand it step by step. Anyway, all right. I done kept y'all for too long. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go fold up the clothes that I just heard the dryer beat. And, oh yes, I gotta make the tea because it's done. All right, I love you guys. Remember, Vrbo, VRBO. That is the app I use to rent these houses, and you know, I don't do Airbnb. I just do Vrbo. That's what I use for rentals. And then when we're on hotels, I have the Choice Hotels app. But you can get all kinds of apps. Tina, like I said, Daniel keeps the Holiday Inn app. Tina uses a different app. I can't remember what hers is. She uses something. They only stay at these other kind. But Choice Hotel offers, I think, a variety and a good price point. That's easy. You know, even if you have to say I can't do it this month, but I can do it this next month, you know, they have it. And also with Vrbo, as you go to check out, a lot of them, I don't know if all of them do, but a lot of them offer you pay half now and you have to pay half by a certain date. That helps you out a whole lot too. And every one of the houses we've had so far have offered that, where we paid half. And then when you're paying half and then you're splitting it in half or by threes by the people that are staying, it's even less money. And somebody's got to give you all the money. I usually make the arrangement so Tina would PayPal me money and Mom would PayPal me money. And then when those monies are in, then I put it with my money and I pay that payment. And then the same thing. A month, depending on when you rent ahead of time, a month or even 2 later, they're going to ask you for it'll already be pre-done, not pre-done, but they'll already have a date. You know, when you start signing out, clicking and paying and all this stuff, it's going to give you a date. Like the 13th of something, you have to pay this much. And it'll be the other half of what's due. So that makes it a lot easier. Anyway, all right, I'm going to go. I love you guys. Oh, Jensen has a doctor's appointment. Jensen, he's got a well baby because I changed his food. I know, and instead I'm leaving and I keep coming back. I have changed his food. Jensen was doing almost that same thing Chia was doing. Losing her tail, losing the hair on her tail, losing the hair on her very back end, like her rump, like her back before it gets to her butt. Chewing all the time. It was horrible. I just think it must be a Chihuahua thing, because Mama's little Jojo did the same thing. And Jensen was losing his hair. He didn't hardly have any hair, just on the edge tip of his tail. I mean, he had sporadic little hairs, but you could see through it. He was red. And so I changed his food. I changed Chia's food so many different times, and sometimes she would clear up and look really good, and then she would go back into looking bad again. But I changed him to this food, Victor. I'm not going to lie, it's expensive and I hate it. I don't even like the smell. It smells bad. but I get Victor grain free, and all of his hair has come back, and he scratches way less than he ever did before. So now I can take him for a well puppy and keep him on his flea peel. So that's what we got to do. I think we're doing that on the 25th. So anyway, all right, I'm out of here. I love you guys. God bless y'all. I will see you later. Katie, I'm trying to do a video.